This is TalkSport Extra Time. I'm Mike Graham, and once again, I find myself delighted to be able to announce that Mr. Mike Porky Parry is in the house. He's sitting right next to me. We are the two Mikes together, of course. Very good morning to you, Mr. Parry.
A very good morning to you, Mike.
What have you got hanging off your ear? You've got something hanging off your ear.
That's not. It's
your ID cards hanging off your. What are you doing with that?
Well, the point is that if I keep these are my headphones, and this is the old ID card to get out of TalkSport.
Right, but why is it hanging from your ear?
Because I've wrapped it round my headphones because I keep losing it. So I wrapped it around my headphones because I can't.
Well, you just put it in your pocket. That's where I put mine.
I know, but I always lose it, and I can't come to work without my headphones. So I thought, well, if I wrap this round, it'll stay. But I agree, it looks a bit silly. But there we are. You know, at least I know
why on earth would you start losing anything like that? I mean, you know, it's a pretty easy thing to remember to bring that in, isn't it? Every time you come in.
Sorry, you just asked me about losing things.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that one of the issues I was going to have to sort you out on tonight was you losing your wallet today. How did you lose your wallet?
I didn't lose it. I just left it.
Lost your wallet?
No, I didn't lose it. I just left it at home. I forgot to bring it with me. And there's a very good reason for that, actually. I've worked out why there is a reason.
Because you're a numbskull, that's
why.
No,
it's not because I'm a numbskull. It's because I've got a new jacket, you see, and the new jacket
new jacket. First time in 23 years you've got a new jacket.
No, it's not the first time in 23 years, actually. But, however, it doesn't have an inside pocket, and I normally carry my wallet on my inside breast pocket, right? But because it hasn't got an inside pocket, the process...
Why did you buy a jacket without an inside pocket?
Well, because I didn't know it didn't have an inside pocket until I bought it.
Well, what a Burke! Didn't you say to yourself, well, I need a functional coat, I've got to have a left-hand side pocket for my
It's only got pockets on the outside.
A right-side pocket for my wallet. That's what everybody in the normal world does. Is this your barber coat?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, this is your barber.
And the reason it doesn't have an inside pocket is because you can buy, like, a detachable lining for the inside of it in case it gets cold, right? And I haven't got a detachable lining.
Has that got pockets?
I've no idea. I didn't get one of those. What's
that got to do with the pocket, then?
Well, because perhaps the inside pocket is in the lining that you buy, but I didn't buy the lining.
Well, perhaps it isn't.
Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not designed to have an inside pocket. Anyway, so as a result of that, I don't...
Next time you buy a pair of trousers, make sure that it's got two legs, okay?
Yeah, when you buy yours from Toys R Us, you can let me know which type you get. Anyway, listen, the point is this, right? The point is this. I unfortunately did leave my wallet behind, but I arrived in London and didn't realise I didn't have it. And luckily, I was able to go to the bank and actually get some money from them. I didn't think they'd give me any.
Mike, you've got to learn the pat. That's the way I get through life. The pat.
Yeah, but that's what's missing, see, because normally I do exactly that.
Exactly.
I pat myself to see I've got my wallet.
Yeah.
But because it's now in a different place, I don't think of it.
It's almost like feeling your own breasts.
Yeah.
You know, the right-hand pat first is the wallet in there. The left-hand pat...
I hope that's not what you do with women.
No, of course I
would be a reason for no success whatsoever.
Exactly. The left-hand pat is the phone there, okay? And then the right lower pat is the dosh in the right-hand pocket of the coat.
Do you do a back pat as well?
No, a back pat.
That may be illegal.
No, and the left-hand pat is always for my packet of tissues. Right. I have to, everywhere I go, I have to have a packet of tissues.
So now anyone who's listening who wants to pick your pockets, you know exactly where all your stuff is.
They know it is. But anyway...
No, interesting you talk about pats, actually, because I could wish you a happy St. Patrick's Day, only it's just passed, because it's now the day after St. Patrick's Day.
We'll get to that in 1 second. Just before we go on, I want you to reveal to our audience how kindly I've treated you in your numbskulliness, leaving your wallet at home.
Yes, you're very kind.
Have I rescued you?
You have. You're very kind. You came in and handed me a big wad of dosh.
Thank you.
Which makes up for all the times I've had to pay for you wherever we've gone anywhere. But, but thank you very much. I will repay you without interest next Monday evening.
Right, now see these glasses I've got on?
Yes.
What's unusual about them?
They don't look very well. They're broken.
Well, they may be a little bit broken, but they are in fact the Flagler St George glasses.
Yes.
I can see straight through my lenses at you, but you can't see my eyes.
No.
Now, the reason
it's quite freaky, actually.
The reason I'm wearing these...
I may have to take a picture and put it out on Twitter.
The reason I'm wearing these is because, you know, it's St Patrick's Day today. Good luck to the Irish.
Well, it was yesterday.
Yesterday, I'm sorry, yeah. Good luck to the Irish. Lots of Irish friends. You and I, of course, both lived in America, where St Patrick's Day is adopted almost as their national celebration. And we all know about that. But what I find a little bit odd is people like Michael Owen, you know, an outstanding English footballer, lives over the border in Wales, but nevertheless, as far as I know, has never had any connection with Ireland whatsoever. Suddenly tweeting out, Happy St Patrick's Day.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with that. I bet you that somebody like my old friend, very good friend, Andy Townsend, captain of Ireland on over 50 occasions, right? I bet Andy doesn't tweet out on St George's Day, Happy St George's Day to all my English friends. Because they just
Well,
don't...
he might do.
No, he won't. Well, for some unknown reason.
Because St Patrick's Day is a sort of universally celebrated
Well,
day. I mean,
this is the
wherever you
point.
go in the world, there's a St Patrick's Day celebration going on.
Why is it so trendy to suddenly, get down with the gang on St Patrick's Day?
Well,
I
it's
don't
not
get
suddenly. It's been going on for years.
Well, has it been going on for years? I don't get involved in St Patrick's Day celebrations.
particularly either.
Not for any reason about
Well,
I
you
don't
might
like
remember
the
when we
Irish.
lived
I
in
do
America.
like the Irish. I love the Irish and the culture and what they bring to the world and World Cups when their fans go there. But I'm actually English, so I wish
thought you
that
were
we.
Welsh.
No. I wish we'd celebrate a little bit more on April the 23rd, St George's Day, and
Well, the thing about the
or
English
dress up
and
as
St-
beef eaters and
Yeah,
go
but-
walking around carrying staffs.
Staffs.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about St George's Day is that nobody one can remember when it is, and two, it always comes as a bit of a surprise. And also, it's not a big designated kind of party day, but people celebrate St Patrick's Day because they just use it as an excuse to go out and get drunk.
Well,
Remember when we used to live in America?
Yeah.
You'd go to Chicago on St Patrick's Day and
I
they'd
know.
turn the river green.
Yeah, would you?
They pour like green dye into the river, and there'd be a huge, massive kind of party going on in
They
New
did
York.
it again
I used
yesterday.
to not go out in New York on St Patrick's Day because
Well,
it was like amateur night.
Yeah, it was Amateur night.
People falling around
I
drunk
used
all
to
over the
enjoy
place.
watching the then Mayor Koch,
Yeah.
right, who used to change his sort of origins of identity.
Yeah, who was Jewish, right?
Yeah, exactly. From Israel to Ireland
Right.
to Greece. Remember when he
Yeah.
turned up at the Greek march? He always
yeah.
turned up at the Greek march looking like a Greek...
And the Italian, the Festival of San Gennaro.
I was going to say,
he was
the
Italian.
the
for
Greek
that.
one, he looked like a Greek fisherman. The Italian one, he looked like a gondolier on a boat in Venice.
Yeah.
And he even turned up dressed as a Russian once when they had some celebration about...
Odessa Day or
something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the great thing about New York. It's a very, very sort of cosmopolitan
Mm.
and multicultural place. And I think it's great that they've celebrated St Patrick's Day. It's only somebody like you that would be curmudgeonly about
No,
it.
I'm not being curmudgeonly. I'm just wondering why, we all open our heart to the Irish, but the Irish don't open their heart to the English, and I just don't get it. It's
Well, I
always
don't think
been a
they
bit like
celebrate
that.
St George's Day in Ireland for many reasons.
Well,
Some of them may be political.
Imagine if you and I went over to Dublin and said, right, want to hire a pub for the day, please, on April 23rd, and we're going to have an English day. I mean, you'd be
Don't think
in
you'd get many
danger.
customers.
You'd be in danger of starting a riot.
Yeah,
Never
you
mind
would.
getting any
Well,
customers.
because some people view England and Ireland as having had a rather kind of adversarial relationship over the years.
But we have such a warm feeling towards the Irish. We always have had because of leprechauns and things like that. You know
That's
what I mean?
what it is.
Well, it's a bit more than leprechauns, obviously.
Well, this is maybe why some Irish people would
got
say
a-
they're a bit condescending
No.
towards them.
They've got a culture. They've had some great. By the way, have you ever tried to read Ulysses?
Ulysses.
Have you ever tried to
By
read
James
it?
Joyce.
Yeah, have you
Yeah,
ever-
I've read it.
Oh, all the way through?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
a long time ago.
You must have been on Mogadon, mate. You
No, I
must
don't
have
think
been.
so.
I mean, it's the most difficult book in the world I've ever tried to read.
Really?
We should be talking about Manchester United.
We should actually, yeah, that's true, because it's all over the back pages. It's a story, as I said at the top of the show, that just doesn't go away.
No, you're
Every
right.
Manchester United fan that I've spoken to over the past season,
Yeah.
I think, has said, don't worry, it'll all come good, and it keeps not coming good.
Yeah, listen, tabloid newspapers are often accused of getting sensationalised about these things. Now,
Yeah.
Neil Custis in The Sun, who we've already had on the show tonight, talking, very eloquently and with very informed knowledge about what could happen there. Moyes on the brink, could Ryan Giggs step in?
3 days,
But-
3 games left, or something like that.
But take a paper like the Daily Telegraph, who we all agree has, got a reputation for not, getting sensationalised. They're the first paper I've seen this morning, Tuesday morning, which has got a range of replacements for Moyes. They're actually saying in the frame contenders for the Old Trafford hot seat. They name Jurgen Klopp,
Yeah.
Borussia Dortmund. They name Laurent Blanc.
Yes.
Who's
Who
he-
I famously called Raymond Blanc.
yeah,
right?
yeah, you did. That's right. And who's he with now? Is he with
PSG?
PSG. That's right.
Not
Used to be-
SPG, that's a special
No,
patrol
that's
group.
right,
They used to go
special
around
patrol
arresting people for no reason.
I'm beating them up.
beating them up
for
in the
no
back of a
reason,
van, yeah.
Yeah, you don't look very nice, son. Bang, Diego Simeone.
Yes.
Argentine is Europe's
He's Atletico
rising
Madrid,
star.
isn't he?
Atletico Madrid brought them back to Bromans. They named Ryan Giggs. If Moyes fails, Moyes is a DJ, isn't he? If Moyes
He is.
fails to see,
He might do a better job, actually.
yeah, he might do, yeah. To see out the season, United could be forced to look within. And then finally, Louis van Gaal. Now,
No, he's
This-
already in the line for the Tottenham job.
well, this
isn't
could be blinking
he?
interesting.
Your mate Steve Sherwood.
Supposing he... Yeah, that's
By
right.
the way, let me tell you something about Steve Sherwood, because you were talking in great raptures about him last Thursday when you were on the show last.
Yes.
And you'd have to say, this act of his is getting a little bit tired now, isn't it?
Which
this
one?
kind of, heart on the sleeve, I'm really, really passionate about my team.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's a bit
Yeah.
inappropriate?
Yeah.
Like when he threw the ball at the Arsenal player. Don't
No.
you think that was a bit
No,
harsh?
no.
Oh, you
I-
think that's allowed, do you? So you're a guy who likes the idea that Alan Pardew headbutts players. You like the idea that Tim Sherwood throws the ball at players.
What was the difference between what Alan Pardew did on the touchline and what Joe Hart did during the game?
No difference at all.
Oh, that's what I say.
I can't believe he wasn't red carded.
That's what I say. Unbelievable discrimination.
There were some ridiculous referee decisions over the weekend.
There were some crazy ones. I don't think that boy spat at Joe Hart, by the way. It seems to me a bit of spittle came out of his mouth. I don't really think he spat it. And even Joe Hart said that, I think. But Joe Hart, I mean, he put his face as, that was forehead incursion to face space.
Very similar,
as much as Alan Pardew's. You're absolutely right. On the Moiseen, what's going to happen? What's going to happen on the Moiseen? Can Sir Alex Ferguson come back? Nobody's talking about this. Well, you see, this mirrors the Sir Matt Busby era. Very, very long period of success under an established manager who became beatific. No other word for it. Became beatific at Manchester United. Beatific. Beatific, like a saint. Like a saint.
It's got an A in it.
Became saintly, right. And you've had exactly the same here with Sir Alex Ferguson. And Sir Matt Busby had to come back. But let me warn you, MG. What happened after...
Why are you doing that thing with your hands? You look like one of those... you look like one of those magicians.
Yeah. But let me tell you.
I can't take you seriously with that thing hanging off your ear.
Well, I'll get rid of it in a minute. So Matt, I'll put it behind me here. They can't see it now. Right, so Matt Busby comes back, tries to rescue them. What happened 3 years later?
They had to get rid of him.
No, they were relegated. Manchester United.
Was this during the period of Wilf McGuinness and all that crap?
Yeah, well, Wilf McGuinness came in first.
Tommy Docherty.
And that was almost exactly the same. Oh, Wilf can do the job. Wilf was his deputy. His hair went white in 12 months. Literally, his hair went from black to white in 12 months. Then Frank O'Farrell came in, the plate-faced guy who was running Leicester City at the time, right? He was hopeless. He lasted about a year.
I sort of vaguely remember this. This was what, in the 70s?
No, it was, it was actually, because they won the European Cup in 68. 2 years later, I think Matt Busby stepped down. In 1970, the start of the season, Everton played Manchester United twice within 6 days, home and away, beat them 2-0 and 3-0. That was the end of United. And then 2 years later, they got relegated. I mean, it was unbelievable decline.
Was that the year that Dennis Law scored the goal that relegated them?
Well, he didn't score the goal relegated them. He scored a goal on the same day that they got relegated. They were already down, so to speak.
Well, that's
but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely. It was definitely that was that weekend. It was that weekend. It all went wrong for them. But amazing stuff here. I mean, really, really amazing stuff. And once again. And people are going to accuse me of, beating the same from getting boring. How much blame must Sir Bobby Charlton take? Because only one of the papers tonight has...
He doesn't get much blame, does he?
Well, he should do, because one of the papers is focused on Jose Mourinho, was available, wanted the Manchester United job, until Bobby Charlton, in an exclusive interview in one of the heavy papers, said, we don't want his sort round here. What sort is that? The winning sort? The genius sort? The great coach sort? The man who could sort out, some of the world's best players
Well, I said
sort?
at the time as well, when David Moyes got the job, because I didn't think it was a good choice at all, that perhaps Fergie didn't want somebody coming in that might not only keep up the Manchester United legacy, but actually do better than him.
Could he be that small-minded?
Possibly. I mean, this is a guy who didn't speak to the BBC for how many years? Because they upset his son.
But
that's quite small-minded.
When he sits there now, when he sits there now, and we see his, look of thunder on his face when United have lost yet again at home. 9 games they've lost at Old Trafford this season. How about that? Or is it 9 games altogether? 9? Yeah, I think it's 9.
I think it's 9 at Old Trafford.
And
so they'd lost 5 midway through the season.
That's right.
When they'd only lost, I think, 3 the whole season before.
Absolutely right. So what I'm saying is, when he sits there with that look of thunder on his face, is he thinking, I don't like this because Manchester United shouldn't be losing. I don't like this because I nominated Davy Moyes as the new manager and he's not up to the job. Or I don't like this because my legacy is being shredded in a few months. What I built up over 26 years is disappearing in a few weeks, months. I mean, I don't know what's going on inside his head, but I mean,
could be all of the above, I suppose.
Could be all of the above. Some of the commentators tonight are saying that it won't be a Sir Alex Ferguson comeback. It will be Ryan Giggs stepping in on a temporary basis with Sir Alex Ferguson behind the scenes trying to help him out. Because Giggs commands so much respect in the dressing room, as you would if you had his track record.
Yes, you might well be right about that, but a lot of fans so far say they don't think it's the right time for Ryan Giggs. We'll talk some more about that coming up a little bit later on. He's Mike Parry, I am Mike Graham. We are the two Mikes. There'll be an iTunes podcast out a little bit later on. Loads more to come up next.
No, they were relegated. Manchester United.
Was this during the period of Wilf McGuinness and all that crap?
Yeah, well, Wilf McGuinness came in first.
Sorry? You just called Wilf McGuinness Milf McGuinness.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Hear it again.
No, I didn't. Oh, Manchester United.
Was this during the period of Wilf McGuinness and all that crap?
Yeah, well, Wilf McGuinness came in first. Just sounds like I did.
To believe.
No, my lip just tripped over my tongue, that was all.
Well, it's probably because that thing's hanging from your ear as well. I think you may have to take yourself outside and get yourself sorted out. But that's one of the reasons we love St. Patrick's Day and we love the Irish, because the music is fantastic.
It is great. I love the Irish culture, I keep telling you. When they go abroad, they take the culture with them. Like when England go abroad, we don't really have that sort of culture. The Scottish have it, the Irish have it, the Welsh have it to a certain extent, but we don't seem to have it. But anyway, there we are.
No, I don't know why that is. But let's talk about some good fortune. You were talking about me forgetting my wallet, and thank you very much indeed for subbing me for the week. However, you had a big win the other day on the horses, and you might remember on Twitter that I said, well, since I gave you the tip, maybe I should be in line for some of your winnings.
What do you mean you gave me the tip?
Maybe I should take.
Hang on.
Maybe I should take that money you've given me and just keep it.
What tip?
The tip for the horse that you won with.
Name the horse that won.
I can't remember the horse.
I can't either. I got it at 33-1. And I tell you what, it's amazing. What I did, but I've sent a picture out of it.
It was the Gold Cup, right?
Yeah, it was the Gold Cup. You see my picture of my betting slip, right?
I didn't know why you were doing that. You sent out a picture of your betting slip like 4 times.
Yeah, Lord Windermere was the name of the horse. I've just remembered because of the lake up there. You know, the Lake District. I love the Lake District, so that's how I remembered it. And that's one reason why I put it on. Also, you've got to remember, my theory is, and the way I work it out is, I always bet on a horse whose jockey's in blue and white silks, because of my club Everton. No jockeys riding in that race wore blue and white silks. The closest was Lord Windermere, purple and yellow. And Everton's second colour is blue and yellow, you see what I mean? Yeah. So I thought, I'll have a go at that.
By the way, while you're talking about that, there was a piece pointed out to me earlier on in the day that, St. Patrick actually originally wore blue. He never wore green.
Is that
so
right?
the idea that green is kind of the adopted colour. It's from a piece of research that I was doing.
Sorry, who took a picture of St. Patrick then? How many years ago? 700 years ago?
Well, he was depicted in several paintings. I mean, you might remember that, in the olden days before photographs, people actually drew pictures, right?
But they might not have had anything green in those days to illustrate the colour of his
if they had blue, they had green, didn't they?
I don't know
you could just
that.
mix blue and yellow, you get green. Did you know that?
I'm not sure about
Anyway,
that.
there are pictures of him wearing, as he was depicted in his sort of early life, wearing blue as opposed to green.
He spent most of his time in Turkey, didn't he? Or was that somebody else?
No, that was St. George.
That was St. George. That's right, yeah. So St. Patrick did spend a bit of time in Ireland then, did he?
I don't think he'd ever been to Ireland, actually.
Who?
But he was adopted, St. Patrick.
So where did he come from?
He was adopted by the Irish, and he went to Ireland eventually. He didn't come from Ireland, I don't think, originally.
Why did they adopt him?
I don't know. Maybe they liked the blue shirt he was wearing.
Yeah, it's all a bit weird, isn't it?
It's very strange.
Yeah.
We've got some face paints here, actually, because we thought, knowing that you like to show off a bit, you might like to paint
show
a blue...
Off me?
You might want to paint a blue shamrock on your chops.
What, with my St. George glasses? Oh, that'd be great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
you could be England and Ireland all together.
Well, I might do the Bond of Friendship bit. Maybe after the show we'll do a Bond of Friendship. Might put a picture out on that.
Anyway, you were talking about your big win at Cheltenham.
Well,
how much did you win then?
Well, altogether I won £261 on the day because I put a fiver each way on Lord Windermere, but I got it at 33-1 because I went early on it, thinking, I'll have a look at that horse.
Thanks for the call, anyway.
And by the way,
I was joking when I said that I gave you the tip because I didn't actually.
No, of course you didn't. No.
I mean, normally most people say I've put this on this horse, and you might want to do the same.
And the horse that came second, which was called,
I've no idea.
That was 14-1. I can't remember what it's called now. But anyway, in the betting shop, I like to do it in the betting shop because you can get the excitement of the race and coming in and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I watched the race in the pub the next door to the betting shop, but I did that on a slip. And I nearly bet on Lord Windermere twice, except the guy behind the glass said, do you know that you've got the same... and there was another horse at 33-1, so I had a fiver each way on him. Anyway, point of my story is, horse came second. I went on my Coral card, on the old Telebonio.
On his own, I'm told that horse was.
On his own, that's right.
Why did you like that one then?
Because
you spent so much time on your own.
No, because it was the one Ruby Walsh was going to ride, but then he got injured, and they put a replacement jockey on. I thought this is a romantic story.
Did you not think that was a bit strange as well? There's a bit of karma there because he broke his. Because he got into so much trouble about saying horses are replaceable, human beings are.
And then a horse does him in.
The next thing, a horse does him in. Yeah. I thought that was quite spooky.
I thought it was quite spooky, but I also thought this is the romantic story of this great race. The replacement jockey and all that. Anyway, it only lost by not even a nose, a photo finish, right? 14-1, 50 each way on that. So altogether, it added up to about just over 400.
That's very nice.
Which was not a bad day's work. And guess what? I came out of the bookies and the pub, and I'm walking up the high street, and I pass the newsagents, and it says record lottery Euro, payout.
You've talked about this place before, haven't you? Have they not had lottery winners there before?
No, it's a different one actually. But it's only 30 yards away. Right. One's a newsagent, the other one is a convenience store.
They were just advertising the actual draw.
Actual draw. And I thought, wow, it's my lucky day. I must buy a Euro lottery ticket, right? But instead of which, I crossed the road because I saw something I knew, and I went into a wine bar to have a glass to celebrate my good luck. Forgot the Euro ticket thing.
It's a great life you've got, isn't it?
You know, and Blimey O'Reilly. That's because it's St Patrick's Day, you know, or
it was yesterday.
That's right, yeah.
It's not anymore.
Blimey O'Reilly, I suddenly find today that the chap who's won 106 million on the Euro lottery lives 2 miles away in Coulsdon in Surrey.
Really?
2 miles, only 2 miles. If I'd have gone and got that ticket, who knows?
Did he buy it from that shop then?
No, he didn't. He bought it from a shop in Coulsdon in Surrey, which is...
Well, then you wouldn't have won it then, would you?
Well, how do you know that? Because the very time that I was thinking of getting it, I might have got in and got that magic ticket just ahead of him. And I feel like I might have missed the opportunity there, you know?
Yeah, but how do you know you would have chosen his numbers, though?
Well, I wouldn't. I'd have gone a random ticket. I got, what's it called, a lucky dip. I'd have got a lucky dip, and so the numbers would have come out of the machine. I'm sure his was a lucky dip as well. I'm not sure, but I just don't know. But I mean, you know, the difference between winning £401 and 106 million is quite severe.
It is quite significant, yeah. I don't even see you again. You'd probably kill yourself if you won that kind of money.
Well, you know, I just hope that I don't suddenly lapse into a depression middle of next week and I realise how close I came.
Yeah, but see, that's typical of your kind of look on life, isn't it? Because you should be happy you won 400 odd quid. You shouldn't be not unhappy that you didn't win 106 million.
Well, maybe I don't have enough cosmic knowledge. What are you talking about cosmic things
Oh, yeah,
for?
because I tweeted this out a little bit earlier, because there's an amazing story that comes out of the United States, near Harvard, actually. The scientists there are thinking...
Harvard.
Cambridge,
Massachusetts,
just on the other side of the Charles River from Boston,
yeah,
of course.
I've been there.
They've made an extraordinary find, right, which supports the Big Bang Theory for the origin of the universe. It struck me that you and I have never actually discussed the origin of the universe, and I thought it would be a good opportunity
because I couldn't care less about the origin of the universe.
You couldn't care less?
Well, who cares? It happened a long time ago.
Well, you're not interested in how the whole planet was formed?
Well, it's too complicated to even think about.
You don't understand it, you mean?
Do you know what a light year is?
Do I know what a light year is? Yeah, the time that it takes the light to travel.
No, for a year.
For a year, yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you think how fast light travels, and give it a year to travel, can you possibly imagine the sort of distances we're talking about here?
Not really. Billions and billions of miles.
And am I right in thinking?
Well, listen to this, right? These people are talking about an event that happened in a trillionth of a trillionth of a trillionth of a second.
It's ridiculous.
I don't even know how long that is.
It's ridiculous. You know, you couldn't blink in that sort of time, could you really? Anyway, what are they talking about? They've suddenly... Is it the fact that this happened so far away that the waves of, you know, like rumble and rock and all that sort of tremor stuff is only just now advancing towards Earth or our universe or something?
What they're trying to do is work out how the universe began, because now it keeps expanding, right? So it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time, and they don't know when it's going to stop. So basically, the universe is more or less infinite.
But, you know, they talk about distances like, that's 5 light years away.
Yeah.
That means light travelling at the speed of light 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, how far away could that be?
It's a long way away.
A long, long way away. And do you know what? When I was a young man, one of my fears about dying early was that heaven might already be full. Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, what would it be like if you got rejected?
Full of people like the underground, you mean?
Yeah,
standing around.
Yeah, well, it might just be full, you know. And I thought.
Well, this is what I wanted to ask you about. Yeah, because if you want to if you say I don't care how the universe started, I don't really care where we came from. You must have a view on whether there was a god or whether.
I believe there's a god, because if there isn't, nothing could have been created. But my biggest worry.
You don't believe in evolution.
My biggest worry was with the expansion of the population when I was in my 20s. I thought, I hope heaven's not full by the time I get there.
What makes you think you're going to heaven?
Well, I think I am. I've left a good Christian life, believe me. And but since I realised that the distances across our universe to other universes are so enormous. I mean, you could get into a spaceship travelling at the speed of light, and for the next 20 years, you might not hit another planet. That's how far away they all are. It's just incredible.
Is that how far away they are?
They're millions and millions.
How many light years is miles away, though?
Well, no, I don't think. No, I'm talking about a habitable planet, right?
Yes.
So Mars.
We don't know if there are any habitable planets.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You'd have to go like 20 million light years away to find one. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And that would take quite a long time because the speed of light is like amazing. It's
very fast.
Well, it's much faster than the speed of sound.
Yeah.
You know, an ordinary fighter pilot will travel at Mach 2, right? Which is over 1,500 miles an hour. Because the speed of sound is 750 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But light is a million times faster than sound. So I mean, we're talking here about unfathomable sort of distances, and we'd
I'm
never
really
get
glad
there.
I asked you about this now.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd let you know.
I'm none the wiser. We're going
Because-
to talk about planes in a minute, actually, because we've got to talk about this amazing story of the missing plane.
I mean, you know, latest theory. I mean,
Save it. Tell me about it in a minute.
Okay, I will.
Mike Porky Parry with the latest theory on the missing Malaysian Airlines plane. Coming next on TalkSport. During the period of Wilf McGuinness and all that crap.
Yeah, well, Milf McGuinness
Tommy-
came in first.
Tommy
and-
Dockett. That's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Listen-
What on earth made you say MILF?
I didn't say MILF. If you listen to it carefully, it was Milf McGuinness
Tommy-
came in first. I was saying, yes, well, maybe Wilf McGuinness came in first.
No, it says-
Milf McGuinness
Tommy-
came in first,
Tommy-
and that was just an abbreviation. I speak in a brief speech sometimes, hoping that the people listening to me have got a brain fast enough to keep up with my tongue and the speed of my brain.
Yeah, well, obviously they haven't, because MILF is not a word normally uttered on
Bit harsh.
TalkSport, but thank you very much indeed for that. Now, let's talk about this bizarre story. Now, you and I have worked in the business a long time,
certainly have.
and I don't think I
Well,
can
you have.
remember anything as weird as this missing plane story. People keep asking me what I think has happened. I think it's actually just gone. I don't think it's vanished. I don't think it's landed. I don't think it was hijacked.
What do you think it is?
I think it just had some kind of catastrophic failure and crashed into the sea.
I totally agree with you. I'll tell you where it is. It's either deep in a forest, because you know around that part of the world, like Java, Sumatra, there's some of the most dense forest in the world, literally, where actually, non-natives have never been. For want of a better word, the
can't get there.
The white man has never tried. Yeah, there's some valleys there, literally, that they've never been down into, because they're so deep and all that kind of stuff,
Full
you know.
of spiders.
Well, I presume the spiders there, but if we
No, I
haven't
don't
been there,
think. I don't think it could have crashed anywhere like that, because
no.
there'd be a heat signal, wouldn't there, from it?
No. Why would there be a heat signal?
Because it would be exploding plane.
What's a heat signal?
Well, if a plane explodes anywhere in the world, you would see smoke. The satellite would pick up the smoke.
No, you wouldn't if it was in a dense forest. Not necessarily. Supposing it just
Surely it
plowed
would
into
set fire to the forest.
Well, I doubt if it would, but the other theory, of course, is that there are parts of the Indian Ocean where they have the deepest water in the world. But you're talking about like 30,000, 40,000 feet of depth in water.
Yeah, but but the problem is they're now looking over an area of 10 million square miles.
Well,
right? And
according to one-
if it is that deep, they will never find it.
According to one headline tonight, 28 million square miles. Okay?
Oh, is that what they're doing now?
Yeah, depends on how big you look. But what I'm saying is,
How can
Mike,
you look in an area that big?
I've no idea. But you're absolutely right. I mean, look, do you remember that guy who claimed he'd been cast away for 13 months in a boat that was drifting around?
Is this the Mexican guy?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Right.
Now, the thing is, we all said to ourselves, that's impossible. Surely some ship would have seen him.
Yeah.
But in fact, there are parts of the oceans in this world which are so remote that if a boat doesn't even go through it for 13 months, then you're absolutely right. That plane could have plunged into the very deepest ocean in the world and... all trace of that would have been gone within, maybe
Although,
a day or two.
the Air France jet that crashed a few years ago, which was, I think it was Air France 747 or something like that, that disappeared in 35,000 feet of water in the Atlantic.
Yes.
And it took them about 5 or 6 days to find that, because the black box wasn't giving out any kind of signal, and stuff started floating to the surface after about 5 or 6 days.
Yes, all right.
And that's the thing that's strange about this.
But at least that was on a widely used commercial airline route. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So they knew where to look. They knew that it must have been here, there, and everywhere. What happened with this plane is before it went down anywhere, it's gone right off route.
Well,
so
they think that, but they're not sure,
well,
are they?
Well, they are, because otherwise it would have been tracked, wouldn't it? You see, there's all sorts of things here where all the facts keep changing.
Yeah.
For instance, on about day 2 or day 3, I heard that because of Rolls-Royce engines, Rolls-Royce automatically get a feedback on how their
they get a
engines
ping,
are performing
It's a ping.
every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
All from all their engines on all their aircraft all around the world to make sure that the engines are running efficiently.
But the engine could have still been sending out a signal even if it was gone down to the sea, couldn't it?
I doubt it very much indeed. How would a signal come from 20,000 feet down
Well,
and
I
all
don't
that
know.
kind of stuff?
I don't know.
We don't know. Anyway, look, one of the wilder theories, Mike, and we mustn't make any fun about this because people's lives are at stake here, but I'm saying the way that the human mind is now going bonkers is that apparently there were 20 technicians on this plane who worked for a company in San Francisco who specialise in trying to make things disappear.
What?
Now, I know that sounds ridiculous,
It does.
but we've all read the theories, haven't we, that one of these days you will actually be able to have invisible warfare because you can bend light, refract light around objects. So if you've got a...
like James Bond's car.
Yes, that's right. So if you've got a load of tanks, right, and you decide, right, we're going to hit the enemy there, you can make them invisible so the enemy can't see you coming. Next thing you know, you're blown to hell and you don't know where it's coming from. Now, What they're
That
saying
sounds
is,
a bit sort of science fiction-y, doesn't it?
it sounds ridiculous, but these are the mad theories. They're saying those 20 scientists who are on board that plane from this company that is investigating the possibility of making things invisible have actually made the plane invisible. By mistake.
What?
You see what I
By
mean?
mistake?
Yeah, because, they've activated some sort of...
Well, instead of putting on the movie, in-flight movie, they've somehow managed to make the plane invisible.
This is the
That
crazy
so
thing.
ridiculous.
No, and you mustn't make jokes about this because people's lives are at stake. But what I'm saying is, you and I know because we're practical journalists who've worked on disasters all our lives, all around the world, the plane's crashed somewhere or it's gone down or something like that.
That's the only explanation.
But these, all these crazy theories about terrorists hijacking it and taking it away to use it on a 9/11 attack later, and that's all mad.
Yeah.
That couldn't possibly happen.
And also, if it was the subject of some kind of terror attack or if it was hijacked, then surely somebody would have claimed responsibility for it and somebody would have come forward and said, this is why we've done it, this is who we are.
Well, they say Al-Qaeda don't always do it that way, because if they wanted to hijack a plane and use it in a terrorist attack later, they wouldn't, advertise it.
But they've never done that before, have they?
No, they've never done that before. And the other thing is, Mike, to get this plane down, and more particularly to turn it round and get it up again, you need a runway of at least 2 miles long. Now, that is quite significant, isn't it?
That means it couldn't have landed anywhere where there supposedly is like remote sort of runways or remote airfields because it needs such a big runway.
It couldn't have landed in the Seychelles or anything like that, could it? You know what I mean?
Well, it couldn't have landed anywhere where there's a reasonably good population of people. They would have seen it.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So you tell me where there's a runway in the world which is so remote. I mean, you'd have to be talking here about, somewhere like, it's impossible to
Well, if you were to
think.
think of somewhere like in the middle of Australia or something like that.
Yeah.
But, how can you do that without anybody knowing?
2 miles long. Well, I tell you what, I remember once flying over Western Australia, which is in reach of this plane, by the way. Australia would have been within reach, but in Western Australia, I was flying over part of the outback there, and the pilot said to me, it was a little plane, 2-engine plane. He said, we don't believe any white men have ever walked on the surface below us, and we're quite low because obviously we're flying out of Perth. To that place where the Fremantle Doctor exists.
Fremantle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right.
And we flew inland, and he showed me a bit of the outback and all that kind of stuff. And he said, "We don't believe white men have ever walked there because it's so remote and so hot and all that kind of stuff." So fine, but
yeah, but it's not that remote. You can just land a plane there.
Well, I'm about to say it's so remote that nobody's ever bothered building a 2-mile long runway there, wide enough to accommodate a 777 airliner.
The other question, of course, that lots of people have raised is that if the passengers all had mobile phones, which you assume that they did, why would one of those people, if there was something afoot, if they were being hijacked or something, why would they not have done something and sent something out?
Absolutely. So it's a catastrophic explosion or something, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think it has to be. I mean, the latest theory in one of the papers this morning is about this flying under the radar thing, that it could have skimmed the land at 5,000 feet. But then you say, right, well, you still come back to, well, where did it go, though? Where did it land?
And also, people would have seen it.
Yeah.
If it was that low, you would hear a plane that low, that big, with those amounts of engine powers in the engine power in them. Of course, you'd see it. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, sadly, there was a helicopter crash last week, wasn't there, involving the richest man in Northern Ireland.
In Norfolk, yeah.
And this happens all the time. Experts tell me that helicopter pilots often lose, that balance thing, that dial which shows you where the land and the sky is and all that. Pilots often get that wrong, and particularly at night and
the
bang.
fog.
Yeah.
Well.
Now, who's to say that these pilots couldn't have got that particular calculation wrong between sky and air and flown straight into the ocean?
The weird thing is, though, is this the so-called switching off of the button that's supposed to keep everybody informed of where the plane is.
Yeah, but how do we know that wasn't a malfunction?
Well, it could be. And also the all right, good night message from the co-pilot, who they think is now the co-pilot, and they're wondering whether that's some kind of coded message.
Coded message, all right, good night. If that plane, went nose down into one of the deepest oceans in the world at, I don't know, hundreds of miles an hour, because that's what they fly at, 500-600 miles an hour, is it credible? It could have gone straight into the sea like supercar and actually gone straight to the bottom. Is that credible?
I think it is, yeah.
Well, I think that must have happened.
That's what happened to the Air France plane.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I think that must have happened. Anyway,
strange,
we've just got to, keep your fingers crossed and hope that the poor people may have survived.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Now, you were telling me another story about a plane experience just before the show started. Tell us about that.
Well, what happened was last week I was in a supermarket and the bloke behind me was standing there with no shirt on. First show.
Really?
First show.
Was this over the weekend?
Eh?
When it was hot over the weekend.
Well, it's hot over the weekend.
I actually got the shorts out on Sunday. It was so hot.
Yeah, I got my shorts out. I was walking around in shorts last week, but at least I did it respectably. So this guy
Well,
behind...
you shouldn't not wear a shirt ever, should you?
Well, it's disgusting.
Except when you're at the beach, mate.
But of course, this guy, being a complete goon, he didn't have a shirt on, but he had a rucksack on, which makes it even worse.
A rucksack and no shirt?
Yeah, absolutely disgusting, Do you realise that dust, like, so the cleaners come in here and they...
Do they?
Yeah, they come in
I've
with
seen
dust
cleaners
stuff.
in here for years.
Well, anyway, the point is, do you know why we have to clean our houses? Because they're full of dust.
Yeah.
Do you know where dust comes from?
No, tell me.
Dust comes from the human body. 98%.
It doesn't just come from the human body.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
98% of
No, it's
dust.
rubbish.
Hang on.
No, hang on a second. If you live in the centre of the city,
Yeah.
and I used to find this both in New York and in London, your house gets much dirtier because of all the stuff that comes in from outside the property.
98% of domestic dust comes from the human body, and that's because your skin flakes off and your skin turns to dust. And that's where the expression in the T.S. Eliot poem, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, comes from. Because that's all you are. You're dust.
Yeah.
We're all dust, okay?
Yeah. Some of us are closer to dust than others.
Well, that's absolutely true. So, for instance...
Yeah,
right,
but there is also outside, sort of filth that comes in from car exhaust and pollution and all of that.
Yeah, but that's not dust. That's
Well,
like...
it forms dust.
No,
isn't
it's pollutive. It's pollutive. It's not dust, okay?
Well, you still get the cleaner to clean it.
Yeah.
Well, not in my case. I have to clean it myself.
But anyway, look, the point I'm making is that 98% of dust in a domestic setting is off your body, it's skin and hair and all that kind of stuff. So this dirty, individual walking around without a shirt on is sprinkling human dust all over the place.
You shouldn't be allowed to walk in a supermarket
Sure,
without
of course
a
you
shirt on.
shouldn't.
Does nobody come up to him and
disgusting.
say, would you mind putting a shirt on?
What-
Because they used to have those signs in shops in America and bars and stuff like that. No shirt, no service.
No shirt, no service. Well, that should be in this country. And everybody around me felt very uneasy, particularly women, obviously,
Yeah.
And I felt like saying to the manager, shouldn't you have some sort of dress code in here?
Yeah.
This is a food shop, and this man is coming in here polluting everything, And, well, the other thing does come
Very
from...
unhygienic.
Dead flies and things as well. They die and they sprinkle into dust as well.
Do they?
So that's another. But
Well, surely if you see a dead fly in the house, you get rid of it before it turns to dust.
No, not necessarily, because, the fly might have sort of landed on the top of your curtain or something, it dies, and then it becomes dust, it sprinkles into dust. I mean, for instance, because I live in two separate locations, I find out that if I haven't been in my second location for about 10 days, when I go in there is no dust, because dust is human-generated, do you see what I mean?
What about all the flies?
No, don't let flies in, man. Don't let flies in there. It's got all sealed windows and everything. Whereas in my domestic dwelling where I spend the 10 days, there is dust.
Well, what if you move into a house that nobody's lived in for 10 years? Why is it always dusty?
Well, no, that's not the case. That's not the case.
It is.
No, it's not now. Now, historically, what you're saying is, we opened up this house and nobody'd been in there since 1958, and it was like a museum and all that. And yes, it will be covered in dust. But you know why that is? That's because the way they used to build houses in those days, the plaster on the wall had turned to dust, the ceiling had turned to dust, the windows weren't very good, so dust had come in from outside. So that was pollutive dust, which I've told you about.
So that's not human skin dust?
No, it's not human skin dust, because there's no humans in there, are there, to actually create
I'm not
that
sure
dust.
you've thought this one through.
No, I have thought it through.
So what creates more dust, then?
A human being. You live in a house with 6 people, like we all used to do as students, for instance, and all that. The reason it gets so filthy and dusty...
It's because you never clean it.
Well, they don't clean it. I used to. Do you know what?
I once lived in a house where we were above an old crockery shop.
Right.
And they used to have piles and piles of plates in this crockery shop, but it was closed, the crockery shop, and people had just left it. So we used to go down and actually just get the plates from the crockery shop every time we wanted dinner, and we'd throw them out in the back garden when we were finished with them. We never washed
That's
them.
disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
The garden
honestly.
was completely covered in plates.
Well, how ludicrous is that? Did you never even wash one of them?
No.
Well, that's disgusting. Honestly.
We never ran out of plates either.
That says a lot about you. But whenever I moved into a house,
Student behaviour is acceptable.
When I was like a trainee journalist and all that, I used to appoint myself as head cleaner, because if I didn't do it, nobody else did. And
You must have been very popular.
I used to go out and buy mops and things and everything, and swab the floors in the kitchen and the bathrooms and all that kind of stuff. Yes, of course I did, because I wasn't going to live like an animal, like a cochon in a medieval barn, where the humans and the
animals
all live together. See that woman who's got this beautiful house that used to be an arrangement like that, and she's going to have to knock it down.
Well,
because
because there's pigs in it.
She hasn't left enough agricultural space for the pigs, in renovating this house.
Really?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Shocking. Right, Porky Parry will be back, of course, on Thursday night, when we may have a bit of a surprise for you, because you're going to be here for a little bit longer, aren't you?
We may be doing a little bit longer.
We'll be revealing more
on
of
Friday
that
morning.
on Twitter. We can talk some more about MILF McGuinness as well. That'll be great.